ask you first about this gambling scandal that's rocked the NBA. Of course, the NBA isn't the only league that's been dealing with this, other sports as well. But what is your message?
Yeah, I heard him throw that in there. Other sports. Now, look at Adam Silver's face. He don't look like a happy man that want to talk about.
Watch Adam Silver's face right there. That's not the expression of someone confident about their league's integrity. That's the look of someone who knows this story isn't going away. And he's right to be worried, because what started as a single player tipping off gambling information has exploded into something far bigger. The FBI investigation that everyone forgot about, it's back, and this time the WnBa is directly in the crosshairs. So let's listen to what happened. October 2024. Adam Silver sits before Congress to testify about gambling, corruption, and professional basketball. No footage was released from that hearing, which should tell you something right there. When leagues want transparency, they broadcast everything. When they're in damage control mode,
gambling situation, because the NBA did their own investigation and they swept all of this under the rug, which caused an investigation into the NBA. Well, the NBA released another statement a little bit after that came out that he had to go meet with Capitol Hill, that they was doing a new investigation into the NBA, pretty much, and the WNBA. We haven't heard nothing come out from that investigation, y'all, and it's been about 3-4 months.
Suddenly, the cameras malfunction. But here's what we know happened behind those closed doors. The FBI presented evidence that the NBA knew about Terry Rozier's illegal gambling activities back in 2019 or 2020 and chose to sweep it under the rug. They conducted their own internal investigation, found problems, and decided the best course of action.
Fans who may be worried about the game's integrity right now.
My message is the integrity is absolutely solid. So the scandal, as you called it, is an incident from 2.5 years ago involving one player who allegedly tipped other accomplices that he was going to be coming out of a game early because he was injured. But so that's, to me, an isolated incident so far. Having said that, we take it absolutely seriously. I understand from a fan standpoint that there's nothing more important than the integrity of the game. And I think, recently we put in some new rules around injury reporting just to address incidents like that, so that information is released as soon as it's known to the teams, and so that there's a level playing field of people who may be betting on the game, so they have the same information.
Was to pretend nothing happened. That decision is now the reason Silver had to explain himself to federal investigators, and the WNBA, they're not getting a pass on this one. Word on the street is that WNBA referees are now being investigated for the same thing that got the NBA in trouble: altering games to benefit gamblers. This is where it gets uncomfortable for Cathy Engelbert. She's been on record multiple times stating that WNBA referees don't alter games, that there's a comprehensive review process to ensure accuracy. But here's the problem with that claim: the review process doesn't actually review anything meaningful. Back in September, the breakdown of how WNBA referee calls get reviewed
is booming. It legalized, that is. But do you worry that the culture, the accessibility of it may be part of the problem here?
I mean, to your point, there's a huge growing legalized sports betting business, and now the prediction markets are part of that as well. There's also probably an even larger illegal sports betting market. So for me, the options are illegal betting or legal betting. And given that choice, we'd much rather there be legal betting where there's transparency. For example, in the case you mentioned before, we spotted it first along with the betting.
So revealed something disturbing. Whatever the referee says the call is, that's what stands. There's no real accountability mechanism, no independent verification. The referee's word is final, and the league just accepts it. Now think about what that means in the context of a gambling investigation. If you're a referee who wants to influence game outcomes, you're operating in a system with virtually no oversight. You make the call, you justify it however you want, and the league backs you up. That's not a system designed to catch corruption. That's a system designed to enable it. So he's admitting it. Good morning, America. brings Silver on to address the scandal, and immediately you can see he doesn't want to be there. The interviewer even tries to soften the blow by mentioning other sports are dealing with this too, but
let's admit it. Hold up. So they did catch it. Let's listen.
Transparency, for example, in the case you mentioned before, we spotted it first along with the betting companies because there was aberrational behavior betting on the so-called unders for that game. So we think we're much better off if there's going to be betting, and there will be, that it be in a legal, transparent framework rather than be controlled, by bad forces. And
the part that should terrify every NBA and WNBA fan is what Silver says about legal versus illegal.
Silver's not buying the lifeline. He knows this is about his leagues, plural, because the WNBA operates under the NBA's umbrella. His answer is carefully constructed. He calls it an isolated incident from 2.5 years ago involving one player. Terry Rozier allegedly tipped accomplices that he was coming out of a game early due to injury, giving them insider information to bet on the under. Silver wants you to believe that's where it ends. One player, one incident, case closed. But that's not what the indictment said. He just admitted, hold up, here's where Silver's narrative falls apart completely. According to the actual federal indictment, this scandal involved leaks from multiple teams across the league. We're talking about players and coaches from the Charlotte Hornets, Toronto Raptors, Los Angeles Lakers.
Head here, some.
Wow, guys. You got to read the comments. Somebody said, where's our pick, Baldy? That's what I want to know. Shaking my head. What is this? Somebody said, yeah, exactly. It's not just one player. It's not just one king, according to the indictment. Hold up. What is this saying? This scandal involved leaks from multiple teams. You had players or coaches with the Charlotte Hornets, the Toronto Raptors, the Los Angeles Lakers, the Orlando Magic, the Portland Trail Blazers, all alleged sharing non-public information. Now, that's what they was investigating. Non-public information. That was an investigation to W and the NBA about this non-public information. Now, with gamblers or friends who then told
Orlando Magic and Portland Trail Blazers all sharing non-public information with gamblers or friends who then passed it to gamblers. This isn't one isolated incident. This is systematic corruption involving some of the league's biggest franchises, and the WNBA had its own parallel investigation into non-public information being leaked for gambling purposes. Same pattern, different. Silver mentions they spotted the abnormal betting patterns first, working with betting companies. That sounds reassuring until you realize what he's actually admitting. The league only catches this stuff when the bets become so obvious that the gambling companies notice. How many smaller schemes are flying under the radar? The part that should terrify every NBA and WNBA fan.
Think the access that crime rings and organized gamblers apparently have to NBA players and coaches should be serious concern for the league, because it's clear that even those who are making millions of dollars are at risk for getting swept up in stuff. Billups made more than $100 million over the course of his Hall of Fame career. He make millions per year. Rozier has a contract worth about $26 million. Somebody say, how about the integrity of the league, the NBA? How do you have an FBI investigation on a player, but you fail to inform the party acquiring that player? Both the NBA and the Hornets knew of the investigation, but the Heat didn't. Where's the integrity? Wow. So somebody's spilling the beans. So when Terry Rozier got traded and let go, they didn't tell the Heat that he was a dirty player. Quite essentially, that's dirty. Gosh, this whole thing is getting spooky. I just got to be honest, man. But we're going to keep tracking this thing. We're going to keep monitoring this thing throughout the day. I'm waiting on the WNBA to turn their faces upside down about the referees. It's coming, y'all. Feel it. But get down in the comment section. Let me know y'all thoughts about this one. Keep them bells on. Until next time, shake the haters off. I'm out of here, y'all.
Is what Silver says about legal versus illegal betting. And he argues that legalized sports betting is better because there's transparency, because they can spot abnormal patterns, but that logic only works if you assume the league is actually trying to stop corruption. The evidence suggests otherwise. When the NBA discovered Terry Rozier's gambling activities years ago, they didn't report it to authorities. They handled it internally and kept it quiet. Then they traded him to the Miami Heat without telling Miami's front office that their new acquisition was under federal investigation. That's not transparency, that's a cover-up. And now we're supposed to trust that same league to police itself when billions of dollars in gambling revenue are at stake. The NBA has partnerships with DraftKings, FanDuel, and betting platforms. The WnBa is following the same model. These leagues make money every time someone places a bet on their games. The conflict of interest is staggering. Let's talk about what this means for the WnBa specifically, because the implications are massive. The league just came off its highest-rated season in decades, driven largely by Caitlin Clark and the rookie class. Attendance records were shattered. Viewership numbers broke records. Expansion is being discussed. This should be the WnBa's golden moment. Instead, they're facing an FBI investigation into referee corruption and gambling manipulation. Think about what that does to the product. Every questionable call in the Indiana Fever versus Las Vegas Aces game last season gets re-examined through this lens. The controversial officiating in the New York Liberty Championship run suddenly looks different. Those weren't just bad calls or human error. They might have been something far worse. Cathy Engelbert has built her entire tenure as WnBa commissioner on the idea that the league is growing, professionalizing, becoming more, legitimate. She talks about investment, infrastructure, long-term planning, but none of that matters if fans don't trust that the games are real. And right now there's a federal investigation suggesting they might not deep. The foul call patterns that fans have been complaining about for years, the ones Engelbert dismisses as just part of the game, they're now evidence in a criminal investigation. The referees, who she's defended repeatedly as professional and unbiased, are being investigated by the FBI for potentially altering outcomes. Here's the thing about gambling corruption. It doesn't require every referee to be dirty. It only requires a few. One referee in the right game at the right moment can swing a point spread with a single call. And in the WnBa, where games are often decided by single-digit margins, that power is even more pronounced. The NBA's scandal involved players like Jonte Porter, who made over $100 million during his career. Still getting caught up in gambling schemes, Terry Rozier had a contract worth $26 million and still allegedly participated. These aren't desperate people looking for money. This is greed, pure and simple. And if players making millions are vulnerable to this, what about referees of that salary? The comment section on this story is revealing people are connecting dots that the league hoped would stay disconnected. Why didn't the Miami Heat get informed about the investigation when they traded for Rozier? Because the NBA and the Hornets both knew, but they chose to keep Miami in the dark. That's not an oversight, that's a deliberate decision to prioritize the league's reputation over competitive integrity. And now we're supposed to believe that same league operating under the same leadership is going to clean up the WNBA's referee problem. The league that swept gambling corruption under the rug for years is suddenly going to be transparent about officiating issues. Adam Silver's interview on Good Morning America was supposed to calm concerns. Instead, it raised more questions. He admitted they caught the abnormal betting pattern. He admitted it involved multiple teams and personnel. He admitted the league knew about issues before federal authorities got involved. But he still wants us to believe it's isolated, contained, under control. The FBI doesn't launch investigations into isolated incidents. They don't haul commissioners before Congress over one player making bad decisions. They investigate when they have evidence of systematic problems that threaten the integrity of billion-dollar industries. For WnBa fans, this is personal. The league has asked for years of patience, promising that investment and growth were coming. Fans showed up this year in record numbers. They bought tickets, watched games, engaged on social media, defended the league against critics. And now they're learning that while they were being told to trust the process, federal investigators were looking into whether the games they were watching were legitimate. The next few months are going to be crucial. The FBI investigation will continue, more information will come out, and Cathy Engelbert is going to have to answer questions she's been avoiding for years about referee accountability, review processes, and what the league actually knew about potential corruption. Because here's what Adam Silver revealed in that interview. Whether he meant to or not, the leagues knew, they spotted it. They saw the patterns, and their first instinct wasn't to expose it, report it, or fix it. Their first instinct was to handle it quietly and hope nobody noticed. The FBI noticed, Congress noticed, and now millions of WnBa fans are noticing too. The question isn't whether there's a problem anymore. The question is how deep it goes, how long it's been happening, and whether anyone in leadership actually cares enough to fix it, or if they're just going to keep doing what they've always done, manage the optics, control the narrative, and hope the next news cycle makes everyone forget. So here's what I want to know. Do you still trust that the games you're watching are real? After everything we just laid out, after the federal investigation, after Silver's admission that they knew about problems and kept quiet, can you watch a controversial referee call in a WnBa playoff game and believe it's just human error? Or are you going to wonder, like millions of other fans are wondering right now, whether something else is going on? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Tell me if you think this investigation is going to actually change anything, or if it's just going to be another scandal that the league weathers and moves past. Because from where I'm sitting, this feels different. This feels like the moment where everything either gets exposed and fixed, or where the WnBa's credibility takes a hit it might not recover from. Hit that like button. If this breakdown gave you perspective you weren't getting anywhere else, subscribe, because we're going to follow this story everywhere it goes, and share this with anyone who still thinks referee complaints are just fans being salty. This isn't about being a sore loser anymore. This is about federal investigators asking the same questions fans have been asking for years, and maybe finally we're going to get some real answers